Get ready to embark on an electrifying entrepreneurial journey.
Join us as we dive into the minds of 5 extraordinary entrepreneurs who have scaled online businesses to awe-inspiring heights. Gary Green, Chris Miller, Laurie Brown, Bobby Christy, and Terry Wilson are here to share their secrets of success.
From visionaries to marketing mavens, these remarkable individuals will unveil their strategies, challenges, and pivotal moments that shaped their rise.
The Big 5 podcast starts now.
Well, yakety yak, what is going on, everybody? I am in a room with some of the greatest people I could ever be privileged to be in a room with. I've known these folks for years now, and it's just an absolute honor to have them with us and with you. This is the Big 5 podcast, and I want to go around the horn real quick and just let everyone introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about yourself. Starting in the top left-hand corner of Bobby Christy down there in Georgia. Bobby, talk to the people a little bit about yourself and where you're from and what you do and what they need to know about Bobby Christy.
Wow. Everybody calls me coach.
Yeah.
Been in baseball for more than 60 years.
Wow.
I was an umpire and I coached all the way from T-ball all the way through college. And along the way, I happened to be in business, started and sold a few and have a good time. I'm originally from Western Pennsylvania, now live here in Atlanta. Yeah. And I like the weather here better than up there.
Can you say that today at July 17th, 2023?
When I was stationed in the Marine Corps, I had the opportunity to live in Norway, 100 miles north of the Arctic Circle, in a canvas tent at the wrong 6 months of the year. I had a great relationship with the Northern Lights. And I vowed that I never want to see anything that cold again. 50 degrees is where I stop. I keep moving further south. It's
wow.
I can take all the heat in the world, but don't let it get cold on me.
Wow. Well, Coach C, it's good to have you in tonight, and I know the listeners are going to get a lot of value bombs thrown their way. High heat from the coach himself down there in hot Atlanta. Well, out there in Texas, don't mess with Texas. They call him Greenbacks in our network. He makes it rain. In my next square that I'm looking at on the screen, Gary Green, talk to the people a little bit about your background, what you do, and how long you've been doing it, and what they need to know about you and what you're about.
Yeah, Gary. Well, hey, Greenbacks is my nickname. Terry gave me that nickname years ago, man. I'm like, well, there's some nicknames out there you might not really want to embrace too much, but that's one that I'll definitely have some fun with for sure. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Who could go wrong and be upset about your nickname has to do with making money?
That's right. Especially when you're in the entrepreneur space and coaching others. Come on.
You made it when you get a nickname, man.
I've had people think, they said, hey, did you change your name to Green? I mean, they thought I actually legally changed it, just so it could go along with making money, right?
Yeah.
But no, Gary Green here, I've done a lot of different things in business, sold different products, marketing, leads, sales, just entrepreneurship, mentorship, education, just everything that encompasses, business and making money, lots of different income streams that I'm associated with. I help people get in front of unlimited leads, and also very advanced on lead engagement, just helping the marketing message get out there authentically, and just continuing moving forward and learning more, and just trying to be, better in business, better person. And by being around everybody here, on this panel, that definitely helps me move and keep moving in the right direction, there. So yeah.
Absolutely. It's good to have you on tonight. I know people are going to be enriched because you are talking to them and speaking to them and helping them solve their problems. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, down there in High Life headquarters, we call them Miller Time. Chris Miller, what are you about? What do people need to know about Chris Miller?
Dude, what you see is what you get.
And you can never forget.
Right?
That's right.
So, I mean, I'm a consultant primarily in the financial space. I also do a lot of sales consulting and things like that. I mean, personally, in my history, I've sold everything from $20 on up to 9 million. So I've been around. So So people do ask me all the time about how to revamp their sales process to get it a little bit more efficient, and to get it a little bit higher and up, things like that. But I wanted to share a little something Bobby was talking about. He was talking about how he was freezing when he was in the Marines. When I was in the Army, we were in Iraq, and I was freezing at 50 degrees, Bobby. Okay? Because when it's 127 during the day and then it drops down to 50 at night, dude, you're wearing everything you own and you're still ice cold.
That's too big of a change, isn't it?
Oh, well, I'm the same way. Give me all the heat in the world, but don't make me cold.
Yeah.
For
real. Well, it's good to have you on, Chris Miller. And I know the people are going to be excited to hear from what you've got to offer tonight and also in the coming weeks as we put out more podcasts. So it's great to have you.
Well, I'm excited for this show for sure.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought it up and actually suggested it. So it was everybody needs to know. Chris was the sort of like, you know what we ought to do? We ought to all just get together and talk about business, because that's what we like to do and that's what we do, and we could do that as a podcast. And I was like, yeah, that is a great idea. And I was like, what? He says, and I said, so who should we have? Just the big five from the group. As the top 5 dogs, we got the big 5. I was like, okay, well, what should we name it? And we all went on like, well, just the big 5. How original.
Hey, y'all want to hear something funny? Now, here it is, 7:30 in the morning, and Terry's getting a text message from me, and I know his face. He's like, what the heck? Why is this guy bugging me at 7:30 in the morning?
I'm on a treadmill.
I dreamt about this show. And I wrote to him 7:30 when I woke up. I said, hey, I had an epiphany moment.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, you know me, when I heard a good idea, I'm on it. I say, well, let's see if someone stops us. If they don't stop us, we're going to do it. So anyway, well, the best looking one in the whole bunch, she is powdered, painted, and puffed up, ready to rock and roll tonight. We call her Miss Spelling Bee. She keeps us all anchored and in check, and keeps me in check for sure. Laurie Brown, what do the people need to know about you down there in San Antonio?
Well, they used to call me Downtown Laurie Brown. And then somehow I got renamed Miss Spelling Bee, and I'll share that story another time. But it's kind of my savant gift to recognize and correct spelling and grammar.
And I just so happen to be a target-rich environment.
And there you go. And maybe that's why we get along so well.
You'll never be out of work as long as you're having to correct my grammar and spelling.
There you go. So I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland rocks.
Cleveland rocks. It's the rock capital of the world.
That's right.
Or otherwise known as the Mistake on the Lake. I got out as soon as I could. When I graduated high school, I was like, I'm out of here. And spent a long time in Kentucky, married a Texan, moved back to Ohio, spent one winter there, and go, what the heck did I do?
Why did I do this?
Why did I do this? And then my born and bred Texan said, can we please move to Texas?
Can we go back to God's country?
I've been fine with. We've been here for like 20 years. Until this past 2 weeks, it's been so hot, I baked bread in my mailbox. I'm just kidding. I didn't really do that.
Do it.
Oh, my word.
But, Terry, I spent many years in corporate America, and I really got a lot of experience doing that. And I was a corporate sales trainer in advertising and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I left there, the business that we're creating here now just really, it just really was a good transition for me. And the thing that I love the most, and I really count, what they say, count it all as joy, is working with people, mentoring, coaching, and bringing them along, helping them recognize what their gifts and talents are, and helping them to develop those talents and gifts that they already have. And then, okay, maybe you're weak on here. Let's strengthen what you're not weak on. Here's how you do that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just having the best time. I love it.
Well, you do a great job, and we love having you. And everyone that comes in contact with Laurie is better for it. Absolutely. She leaves an imprint on everyone she comes in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
So
most definitely, yes.
Here's the question I want to ask everyone, and we'll just go around the horn. And I tell you what, I don't want to put anybody on the spot. So if something pops in your head, just raise your hand, and then as we take turns, because I was going to say we'll start back at the top, but I didn't want to put Bobby on the spot unless you're ready to answer a question, because I didn't. None of these questions have been vetted.
Too much setup already.
Yeah. Well, no, this is going to be an easy one. This is an easy one.
Throwing some curveballs.
No, this is going to be so easy.
A big plan going on here.
No. But who is it? Who's the guy that wrote the book about the why? You got to have a why. Simon Sinek. Start with why. Everybody knows that book. If you haven't got that book, go out and get that book. And if you want a free audio copy, one of my guys on the panel here will send you a link, and they can get you a free audio copy version of Simon Sinek's Start With Why. But the reason he says that, and I forget who the Greek philosopher was that said that if a person has a strong why, they can do anything. Right? So we all are entrepreneurs here. We're all self-employed. We all work for ourselves. We all do what we want to do it when we want to do it with who we want to do it with, and do it as long as we want to do it, and earn is what we want. So that's what we do. My question is, what's your why? What drives you? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you an entrepreneur? Because I know every one of you personally and professionally, and I know that you've had ups. I know you've had downs, just like I have. And so while we don't make any apologies for what entrepreneurialism has afforded us, while we celebrate our commonality here with the similar network and background, and we offer the same tools, and we are part of the same family at TW3, we all do it a little different. And we've all had different levels of experiences at different times. Why are you, in 2023, July 17th is when we're recording this, why are you doing what you're doing right now? What's driving you? What's motivating you? What's keeping you out there pushing, persistent? Because there's going to be people listening to this right now. Maybe they're thinking, gosh, I've tried and I failed, and I'm sick of it and I'm tired, and I'm just going to go work for someone and give up on my dreams, give up on my hope, give up on my goals, just because doing it myself is hard. And I don't think anybody on here would say that it's easy. It's never any problems. I know you guys wouldn't say that. So knowing what you know about business, knowing what you know about the ups and downs, why do you do what you do? Who wants to answer that first? Go ahead, Greenbacks.
Well, that's a pretty broad question, right? Just why? There's a lot of different things that, could come to mind, to answer that question. But I would say, one thing that jumps out is, just getting paid what I'm worth. Okay. And knowing that I can put my effort into something and get the rewards from that, and nobody's going to take that away from me. So versus going to the job, working a 9 to 5, where you're punching a time clock, they're in complete control of, what you do, when you do, where you go, what time, and everything else there. I just like having the freedom of, like, if I really want to work hard and I have a specific goal that I want to get to, the only person holding me back is myself. Okay. So that's one thing that, jumps out, for me. And also I have a problem with, authority. So,
I think everybody on here probably shares it's a common personality trait among a lot of us.
Yes. So, but yeah, that would be one thing there. And then, I also like helping other entrepreneurs succeed in their business with all these different software tools that we have under one roof. And, because technology is a monster, make no mistake, it's very vast, it's very in depth. Very few people know the secret code to technology to be able to unpack it and teach it and help people in business with technology. So, I enjoy helping other entrepreneurs, business owners, just to help their bottom line, in their business. So that would be probably the second part. Number two, there. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's something Bray has said, there's a lot of people that are very knowledgeable about technology and technical things, but they have no wisdom on how to use it to create a profit. I mean, there's people right now that I pay $5 to do work for me that I'm going to turn around and sell for $500. Because they technically know how to do something. They know the X's and O's. They know HTML, CSS. They know all of these codes and stuff, but they don't know how to create value with it and do it. And I love that about you, Gary. And that's how you give people the knowledge on how to do something. And the knowledge might be, hey, don't spend 3 hours coding this. Pay someone $5 that's going to take 10 minutes to do it, and then turn around, turn it into a funnel, and here's where you put it, and here's how you do it, and here's how you, so I love that. So it's good stuff. Who else has got, what's your why? Who else? Chris Miller.
So I'll echo a little bit about what Gary's saying there too, because I mean, just listen to, what's that old movie? Was it with Julia Roberts? Pretty Woman?
Yeah.
She's all like, I say where I want, I say when I want, I say who.
Exactly.
That's what it's about, because for me, it was desperation that brought me to being here, right?
Yeah.
Desperation. My wife of 16 years just walks out the door one day, leaves me a single father of an 11-year-old. Well, this kid doesn't get to school until 8:30.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be at work at 6:30. So what am I going to do? The school doesn't even open before 8. So that's not going to happen one way or another, right? I can't even get him there, so I can't even get him there early and say, just hang out, wait for the gates to open. I'm not going to leave him on the street on the road,
Yeah.
So they didn't want to deal with me, and they decided to let me go, man. And I was one of the top guys that they had out of 7 states in that company. Right. So I wasn't exactly a little guy in the company, but they just didn't, they have their set ways of doing things when you work for other people. So like Gary is saying, you're never going to get where you want to go if you're doing it for someone else. You're just not.
No one cares about you more than you care about your business.
Right. I mean, look, if I'm working my tail off to bring in $10 for this other guy, he's going to pay me 2.
Yep.
Maybe at the high side.
Yeah.
Chances are he'll pay me 1. He'll pay me 10% of it.
Yeah.
Right. That's more likely. So, if anybody's out there is listening and you're wondering why you're not getting ahead, while mind you, inflation rates are soaring.
Yeah.
Okay. It costs $10,000 more this year than it did last year to live, which means that unless you're making $10,000 more this year than you did last year, you just got a pay cut and you didn't even know it.
Yep.
Okay. Nobody bothered to tell you. And now you're wondering why you don't have any money. Yep. You're wondering why you're struggling. The majority of people in the United States live on less than $5,000 an entire month. Okay. You just can't live that way and succeed. You can't. So you ask me my why. The answer is desperation. It's desperation.
Yeah.
And everybody should be just as desperate. I had to support my kid, you know, and other people are having to support their kids. You got to support your kid, you know, Gary,
Absolutely.
Bobby, you got little baby grandkids you got to support now, right? Laurie, you too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's that old adage where the guy came up, that guru, and he says, I want to be successful like you. Have you heard that story? I want to be successful like you. He says, go away, kid. You don't want to be successful. He goes, no, I want to be successful like you. He said, all right, you want to be successful like me? Meet me at the beach tomorrow at 6 a.m. Have you heard this story? And this guy, you know, he's crazy. You know, I need business lessons. I need to learn how to make money. And he's telling me to come to the beach. So, all right, so he comes out there and he sees the guy and the guru's out there. He says, come on. He said, where are we going? He said, we're going to the ocean. He says, you wanted me to teach you? If you want me to teach you, you got to do it my way. Come on. He goes, I don't know what this guy is doing. All I wanted was know, how does he do his business? How is he making this money? And he's wanting to go swimming in the ocean at 6 a.m. And he goes out and he get wasted. And he said, come on. He said, what is this guy doing? Finally, they get out there to where the water is up to his chin. He says, now, you want to be successful like me? He said, yeah. All right, watch this. He grabs the guy and holds him under the water. And holds him. The guy he's like, this guy killed me. He's a mass murderer. I didn't know this. I came from a business lesson. I'm going to get killed out here. 6 a.m. Nobody's at the beach to see this. You know, his mind's, and he just flailing. And finally the guy picked him up. And he says, now, you want to know how to be successful? And he's got, yeah, I wanted to know. He goes, well, here's lesson 1. When you want to succeed as bad as you just wanted to breathe, then you'll be successful. He says, when you were under that water, what were you thinking about? I wanted to breathe. He goes, so you weren't thinking about going out with your friends? No, you wasn't thinking about, you know, what can I do tomorrow night? You know, so-and-so was sleeping in. I was going to do. No, I just when you want to breathe or succeed as bad as you just wanted to breathe, you'll be successful. And that was, my story is similar to your story, Chris. And I think everybody has a similar story here. Life threw us a curveball. And we decided there's 2 ways to go about this. We can just turn around and lay down and die and let life have its way, or we can get up and fight. Because life might kill me, but it's not going to kill me while I'm quitting. It's going to kill me while I'm standing up, you know, throwing the best punch I've got. So I love that. I love that about your story. And Gary's story, he's got a similar story. We talked about years ago, and everybody knows my story, so I won't belabor you with it. But who else wants to talk about their why? Who else wants to share their why?
Okay, I'll do mine. My why is legacy. I'm at that point in my life right now where, one, I don't have to work. I work because I want to. And I want to build something that I can hand off to one of my grandkids, maybe even my daughter at some point. If she's willing to take it, but I have 9 grandkids right now. Wow. And we're probably going to have more soon. If everything goes according to plan. And
plan expanding again.
I'm sending Wine and Kenny G up there. What else they need?
And, you know, the business that I'm in today is a portable business. I can do it anywhere on the planet. Yeah. You know, in 2 weeks, I'll be back up in North Carolina on the farm, dealing with those blasted chickens and, you know, trying not to step on eggs and, you know, and all that other stuff that goes on up there. Yeah. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I was in my office.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had a company, and it was on the 21st floor of the Four Seasons Hotel in Atlanta, in Midtown on 14th Street. I mean, it was beautiful. I had like a half an acre of like Italian marble and glass, and a monthly payment that, you know, it was like, how much? And, you know, I had leased out half of the office to a baseball agent. And that made it a little bit better. But, that was a big hang. I mean, I was married to the Four Seasons Hotel.
Yeah.
I literally, I could sleep in my office. I could order from room service. I had all the amenities that you could have in that hotel. And the problem is that I never saw anybody. And, you think, you drive an hour, work 12 hours, drive home, jump into bed, do it again the next day. I don't have a chance to go see grandkids. And when I let all that stuff go and said, okay, I'm done. Now, what can I do that I can give something back? I can be portable, and I can do it anywhere on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's like, now have computer will travel.
Yeah.
And I mean, and to me, that's legacy.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting to know my grandkids. And it's amazing what they can teach you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah, I mean,
computer
my-
will
my
travel,
son-
right?
My son, I barely knew who he was until my wife walked out. He was 11 years old before I really got to know him
Yeah.
because I was always off working.
Yeah.
So
That's
I get
true.
that.
That's good, Bobby. That's good, Chris. Laurie, what's your why?
Well, I just have to echo just a bit about what Chris and Bobby and Gary have said, because I mean, I think it's all our stories.
Yeah.
The desperation. When I lost a job that I loved, that I had been there almost 20 years and thought I had it made, and then it was gone through no fault of my own. And I got to thinking, I'm getting old.
No.
I'm not going to start all over.
Yeah.
I cannot start all over knocking on doors.
Yeah.
I'm too old and it's too daggum hot. So I'm not going to do that. And then, what Bobby mentioned, just having and Gary did too, having the freedom to be in control of what your life, your lifestyle, your legacy, the time that you're able to spend with your family, because in the end, there's nothing more important than your family.
Amen.
And your legacy and making those relationships with your kids, with your grandkids. I've got a brand new grandbaby, just a little over a week old. They live in Pennsylvania. They're a 24-hour trip for me to get up there. So, but you know what? I got a computer.
Got a computer, will travel.
And stay as long as I want.
Yeah. So it sounds like the compelling call to action that we've all had in our lives at some point. Something disruptive happened.
Yep.
There's a disruption in our lives, and there was a pivotal moment where we all had to make a choice. Am I going to work for the man? Am I going to be the man, as I like to say it? But, are we going to take control of our careers or continually outsource our destiny to someone thinking they're going to be a benevolent dictator? And it never happens that way. It always.
True.
Yeah. So
hey man, leaders are not followers for a reason, right?
Correct.
We're a starring role played by a very select few who are smart enough to pay attention to what's right in front of us and go after it,
Absolutely. And I like the desperation component to it, because I don't know if you guys are like I am, but I'm teaching a class all this month at my church, and it's on mindset and stuff like that. But one of the things that I've come to as I get older, and I'm sure you guys are the same way, and you could probably testify to this, at the time when something disruptive in your life happens, you begrudge it maybe, you are frustrated by it, you're probably shaking your fist at the sky and saying, why? But as I look back on all of that stuff that happened to me in 07, 08, putting me in a food line, trying to look for benevolence just so I could feed a family, and I was telling the class this, I thank God every day for that. I thank God every day I lost that music business and that trucking company and all of that, even though 22 employees and 6 different trucks and was the big wig in a certain industry and thought of in the community a certain way. And it was very painful and very, very humbling and very humiliating to be brought so low. But as I look back on it now, I thank God for it, because like Bobby, I was tied to an office that was a nice office in the town. It wasn't like Atlanta by no means, but it was nice for where it was at. I was high on the hog, as we say, but I didn't have freedom. I had debt. I had payroll. I had stress. I also had kids I never saw. And by being forced into having to pick up the pieces, we all have these tools now here at TW3 that allows us with a laptop to go up and play with the chickens in North Carolina, or go on a road trip to Pennsylvania, or go out on the baseball field to watch our son play baseball like Gary, or go and see our son and wife do what we want like Chris does, and travel and stuff, because no longer are we restrained by the traditional business model we probably all were brought up in. So I think I celebrate with you guys what we have here and what we use here. And I hope more people that hear our podcast, if you're in a similar situation, and Chris, I love that stat that you brought up, because I talk to a lot of people and it's like, I'm making a little bit more this year. I'm making a few $1,000s more, but I swear I feel like I've lost thousands of dollars. I'm not, and I love that. I didn't realize it was $10,000.
10,000 more this year than you had to make last year just to have the same amount of money in the bank, just to have the same amount of money to live on,
just to break even.
Yeah, but I don't know any big corporations that are saying, you know what, you've done such a good job, I'm going to raise you up 10 grand this year.
I don't know if anybody's handing out $10,000.
No, you don't hear that. No way.
But we can hand it to ourselves, can't we?
Yeah.
And we have the tools and the techniques to do that. And it doesn't mean it comes easy all the time, but it does mean it comes, and we can have it if we're persistent with it and we push through. So we understand the why. What are some things you guys are doing in your business right now that you're excited about, that you want to share with our audience in our closing here? What are some things that maybe people aren't even aware of that you can do in business? Because maybe there's that person out there that says, I've tried a work from home business, or I've tried different ways to promote the business that I have. I'm an insurance guy, real estate guys, and I've bought leads before, or I've tried to generate my leads, or I am a person that's tried a work from home business and it's just so hard. What are some things that you can speak to right now and say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, did you realize X, Y, and Z is possible right now that just wasn't possible just this time last year, that you can speak to? Anybody want to take a swing at that question? What's some things that you're excited about right now that's working that most people aren't aware of, Gary Green?
Yeah. Well, there's like the technology, it's a monster. Okay. It's in depth. It's never ending. Okay. And if you try to go with technology by yourself, then the odds are it's just not going to happen. Right. So with our platform and our software, we have to where we break it all down under one roof. And one of the main things that is broken down is to show you how to get in front of unlimited leads with whatever industry that you're in. Okay. We do have some very prominent industries: real estate, travel, solar's huge, roofing, handful of other ones too as well. We just show people how to get in front of those leads and have them booked on a system and have a sequence and a follow-up with that technology all together working in unison to where it all works correctly and efficiently. Okay. So that there, I would say, would jump out when you can have consistent leads coming in every day.
Yeah.
Okay. With whatever that you're doing, that's just a very strong position to be in, there. And then there's a ton of other stuff that's wrapped around that comment, but just that there alone is going to set the bar at a much higher level for oneself in their business or whatever that they're doing. So, we could talk for all of us could talk for hours and hours and hours about this, what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
That's just the gist of it there. At the end of the day, we're, teaching people how
Leads
to
are the lifeblood, isn't it? So and you got a tool and a technique that will put leads on tap for people. Miller Time, what have you got?
Hey, I love that, Gary. And then the other thing that I was thinking when you were saying that, Terry, is when I was listening to you, you're echoing obviously what you're hearing from prospects all the time, right? And I know because I hear the same things, and we all hear the same things. I tried this, I tried that, I tried this, I tried that.
Yeah.
The problem is, in my estimation, you got to stop trying things and just start doing them. One of the things that I started recently that I'm really having a lot of fun with, because I'm seeing some great results in my clients, and they're so over the moon with the results that they're getting, is I started a professional business coaching program, right? To teach people how to get where they want to go, right, in their business. And you got to get your mind in the right place. And most of my clients, the very first lesson I teach them is that they don't understand this one fundamental step. You got to stop trying and you got to start doing. I'm not going to try something out. Look, a leader leads.
Yes.
They don't just say, oh, we'll see how this goes. Like the guy in your story who's being held underwater.
Yes.
If he was a leader, if he really had what it takes, he'd have punched that dude in the stomach.
Absolutely.
And breathe.
Nothing's going to hold me down. That's right.
Right. All right. There's no, I'll just keep flailing around until you decide to let me up. Nuh-uh. I'm going to make you let me up.
Yes.
Right. I'm going to get my air.
Yes.
I'm going to get my money. I'm going to get my air. I'm going to get where I want to go. I'm not trying things.
Yes.
I'm doing things. And I think that is a fundamental mindset that must happen if you want to get where you're going. And then you take what Gary's talking about, which is what we all use here, and you take that, and now you're not trying to figure out how this goes. I am dedicated to the idea of figuring out how to draw these leads. Yep. I am dedicated to figuring this out and making it happen. Not tomorrow, not the next day, now.
Yeah.
So I can put it to work in my business. I can start getting that money. I can start getting where I want to go. I can make all these things happen because I'm a leader. If you got that kind of mindset, you need to get into TW3 right now. I'll tell you that right now.
Absolutely. Isn't it so frustrating? I know every one of you guys, because I know your businesses, but it's frustrating. I won't put words in your mouth. It is frustrating to me. It's frustrating to me to hear someone say, I've tried this and it's just so hard, and I want to quit. And you push into what they've done, and they spent 10 minutes here. They haven't finished any of the training. They haven't come to any of the training sessions. They just dabbled a little bit and they're ready to go ahead and throw in the towel. And I was like, you are never going to get anywhere in your life with that mindset, because you're right, Chris. They're just taking a little test, little dabble, and then moving on. And that's why you never get anything done, because you're trying and not doing. Whereas if you're thrown in a situation where it's sink or swim, do or die, make this work, or don't get off the couch or don't get off the desk, or don't do whatever, don't stop until this works. Like I had someone asked me the other day, about something in our business, and Reagan answered it for him and says, you don't understand. Dad sat in that chair, and he pointed at his chair over here in my office. He says, that chair right there used to be over on Harbor Street in Inman, South Carolina. And when he built this business, I saw that man sit there for 36 hours and not get up. They didn't even go to the bathroom. I went to work, came back. He was still sitting there, didn't get up until this was built. And they just looked at me and was like, well, you got to understand, I had 5 kids that needed to eat. It wasn't, I'm trying this. No, something's got to happen, or I'm not stopping. And that's the difference. And I love that you brought that out. I'm sorry, Gary, I cut you off.
Well, just to echo, you get out what you put in.
Yes.
Okay. So, you hear it like, hey, you're going to get out of things what you put into things is basically, what that means. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm not trying to make it all about TW3 when I say that.
Anything.
So I'm kind of intense. So anybody who's listening to this podcast in the future who doesn't know me, I'm a hard charger. I'm letting you know now. So come prepared for that if you keep listening to this podcast. I'm a hard charger and I don't stop.
This is transferable advice. You could put this on anything. If you're wanting to lose weight, don't try. Lose weight.
Do it.
If you want a better marriage, don't try. Do it. Yeah, it doesn't matter what. You could put this in any arena, but it's the mindset that you approach things at. Sorry, I'm getting on my soapbox here and starting to preach. You hit a hot button with me, Chris.
Man, now this is a show. Huh?
Well, hey, you hear that guy? They go, well, hey, I tried this and I tried my best, but you know what? I quit.
Yeah,
I failed one time and then I threw in the towel. Well, guess what? Failure is your friend.
That's exactly you'll fail.
So if you're not failing, you're not succeeding.
You ain't doing nothing. That's right.
Just ask Bobby what he thinks when one of his players came up to say, well, gee, I'm trying, coach.
Exactly.
I always hit them up with the, don't tell me about the labor. Show me the baby.
That's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. So
how many babies have you had, Bobby?
That's an open-ended question.
Yeah. An open-ended question, yeah.
Another show, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know of 2 of them, but
yeah. Let me say, I will tell you this. I did something that no grandfather should do, and that was I delivered my first grandson.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And boy, you talk about something. It's like, out comes the baby. They put him in my hands, so I got to hold him first, got to cut the cord, and then all of a sudden it was like, I shouldn't be in here.
All of a sudden I feel awkward.
And that was the last one. It was like, no, well, we're not doing this again.
Yeah.
The doctor was all like, well, I'm trying. And he's like, get out of the way.
Get out of the way. So, Bobby and Laurie, what do you want to talk about that is exciting right now in business that wasn't here, just a couple year, 2, 6 months ago? What are you excited about in business right now that you're in working in your business that you want to share with the people that they might not be aware of, that this is a possibility? This is something that you can do in business right now. It could be a tool. It could be a technique, whatever.
Well, I'll tell you, I came from the B2B business to business world. And so, when we got these tools from the app, that was just spot on. That is a business tool that there's not a business out there that doesn't need these tools. And it's just, technology is going and progressing so fast. It's like, hang on.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of TW3 is, we have our family, we have our coaching, we have support, for those people who do need something to sell, or they do have a business. They just don't know how to use these tools. Most small, medium-sized mom and pop businesses, they don't have a clue.
Yeah.
All they know about is, put an ad in the yellow pages, send out a direct mail card, and
yeah.
And it'll all be good. And it's that stuff doesn't work anymore.
That's true.
So to have the opportunity to as Chris mentioned, he's a consultant.
Mm-hmm.
We're consultants. We're going to help and consult businesses, use some of these tools that the big, Target's using them, and Macy's and Burger King and, all the big boys with the big Apple. They're all using these same strategies and these same tools.
Absolutely.
Paying a lot more for it.
They are.
And paying a lot more for it.
Yeah. And yes, they are. So, and they've been using them for quite some time. So it to me, it's a great opportunity to help those mom and pops compete with the big players, even in their own market.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I was able.
It's just going to get better.
To dovetail off of you, and then I'll kick it over to Bobby. But just to something that talking about big companies are using, and we can compete and compete well. We had a Publix just open, a Publix grocery store. I don't know if you guys have that particular chain in your neck of the woods, but it's a pretty big chain of grocery stores. A little more ups.
I love me them subs from Publix.
Pardon?
I love me them Publix subs.
Yeah. A little upscale grocer in the Carolinas in the Southeast, I think. I don't know if they're down in Georgia, but one has just opened up here, and they have a marketing firm that comes on with them and goes to all the other local businesses and says, hey, how would you like to have your local business, ABC Gym, how would you like to have a banner ad put up to all of our shoppers when they come in and buy with our app? And we guarantee you we'll give you 1,000 impressions for every person that comes onto our website, or every person that comes on to the app or does the shopping cart stuff with us and all this. And they're selling that for $500 a month to local businesses. Well, what did Terry do when this is already a client of mine says, do you think it's worth it? I said, no, it's not worth it. And he says, why? I said, it's because do you typically, when you go on somewhere, want a pop-up ad? If you're at the grocery store, is someone wanting to look at mufflers? Unless they're in the market for mufflers, or unless it's an annoyance, right? What if I could give you a data list of people that meets the demographical, what you're looking for, and for literally $50, you could have it in their text right then and there, and I can show you a way of giving them something, just saying, put me in your phone for the next time you need X, Y, and Z with your car. We just want to give you this gift to have the right to quote you the next time you need this. You're going to get way more response. You're going to pay $50 and you're going to love it. That's what our app, because now I basically sold them our app and showed them how they can buy data from us, and showed them how they can give free gifts away. And they're loving it. They're saying, oh my God, we didn't want to tell you this, but we signed up with them. We haven't got nothing. It's already been 2 months. We've spent $1,000 with them. We bought your app over here, spent $50 in marketing with you, and we've already got 10 clients. So that's what we offer. And this is for anybody listening, this is what these fine folks on here tonight can do for you. They can show you how to use these tools and these techniques and this software, so that you can literally save people thousands of dollars and get them better results. So that's what I'm.
Also, Terry, well, just excuse me.
No, go ahead.
Also, when you have those leads coming in for that client, we have unified messaging from everywhere. And that's one, you were asking the question, hey, what are the new things that are out recently? That's one that I just remembered just now, because we have so much technology and stuff that we could talk about. It's a lot, right? But that's one thing that I wanted to speak on just real quick. It integrates, all your text messaging, all your voicemail, all your email, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We just had a TikTok. Yeah. You can Google My Business. So any message that comes through
one central dashboard
is going to be in one thread, and the system's going to capture that lead and respond to it automatically. So that's just very, very powerful. My clients love it. And I just wanted to add on to what you just said, there with that. So,
that's great. That's great. Bobby, what are you excited about? What's a tool that's here today that you are just all jazzed up about that people need to know about?
The thing that I'm most excited about is the tap card. And just really getting out there and just kind of showing it to people. Because the thing that I'm trying to talk to people about is be a category of one. A lot of times when we go out and talk to people, we run into those, well, I've tried. Well, have you ever tried to be number one? I learned this in the Marine Corps, is that, in a class of 250, somebody's going to be first, somebody's going to be last. and it's a choice. And in business, it's the same way. If you're in a particular niche, in a particular town, somebody's the best, somebody's the worst. Make the conscious decision to be the best. Because if you can make yourself a category of one, you have no competition. And that's when we start to marry the tools to the business. Instead of going in and telling them that, like, we've got all these great features. I mean, we can probably talk about features for an hour. But if we go in and say, I can make you a category of one, do we have time to talk about that? And people will. And what that does is it opens up not only a tap card sale, a system sale, but it also opens up the RMPs. It also opens up consulting and some of the other ancillary services that we all have. So we're able to capture a client and be able to do 5 or 6 things for them that we're not going to capture until we get into a conversation is, I want to make you a category of one. Does that sound interesting?
I love that. And there's so many, going back to that tap card, there's so many types of clients that find so much value in this. If you're a business coach like Bobby, then you want to be out in the highways, and he's going to be suffering for Jesus in the coming weeks and offering VIP services and driving these golfers around down on a PGA tournament. And so he's going to be hobnobbing and rubbing elbows with them. Well, he's a business coach and he's in a business class people. He can sit there and just tap their phone, and whatever he programs in there, it's going to be on their phone so that they can have whatever he wants to transmit to them. Maybe it's an ebook that he wrote. Maybe it's a gift that he's giving away. Maybe it's a sign up. Whatever it is, it's with the tap of a card. I love using these with pastors because pastors are always looking for ways to share the good news. And they're always looking for ways to equip their body of believers to share the good news. And how many grew up in a church that they always gave you these tracts to hand out? Well, this is the modern day. I can go in and show a pastor and a team here that here's a way that you can share the good news in a non-invasive, very inviting, very value-packed way where you can be giving gifts away, and all you're doing is sowing seeds as we're taught as believers to do. And so I love these for church applications like that. I've sold these to fitness coaches. Several fitness trainers and stuff like that. People come into the gym and they're inevitably, what's everybody go to the gym for immediately? They're always wanting to lose weight or want some. Well, they can tap here's a PDF file of, a diet plan and all this stuff they can do. They can put whatever they want on it. There's so many different ways that this is of value to people, and Bobby has really taken a hold of this. And for you guys that are internet marketers or are drawn to that, this is one of the tools that we can equip you with, that you can sell this. And it, like Bobby said, it opens you up for other conversations to have with people, because Bobby builds funnels for tons of people. And this is just a way of him demonstrating one of his funnels to the people in the highways and the byways as he's tapping on their phone and showing off what he can do with a funnel. So.
Yeah, and he's going to run into that one person where he taps their phone. And then next thing you know, he's got all the opportunity in the world to turn them into a client, a customer for any kind of service.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not getting lost in the fold with the paper business card.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
The paper business card is going in the trash, or it's getting lost in a drawer somewhere, or it's pulling a disappearing act, right, or whatever, right?
Well, that's the thing. A paper card has never called me back. A paper card has never sent me an email the following day. A paper card has never left a voicemail and said, hey, I just wanted to reach out and let you know it was great meeting you today. You can program all of that with this right here.
Our system is cool. That's not what I do.
That's something that I've actually done. Whenever you tap my card onto somebody's phone, I created a separate page in my website, and I did it on the phone logo there.
Yeah.
So I built it so that you can see it on a telephone. But when, the first thing is there is my contact information, the VCF card.
Mm-hmm.
There's a link to my website, a link to an article called What is a Sales Funnel? And then I put all of my social media links on another link, and it's like, let's connect.
Yep.
And you click that button and it goes someplace else. And if I ever want to change it, all I have to do is go in and change that page.
Yep. You don't have to change the card anymore.
I don't have to change the card. I just have to go in and change the page.
That's what you want, isn't it, Bobby? Once you have that page created, it's totally editable any of the times. Well, man, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I'm working on another ebook, and basically it's going to talk about being a category of one. And so that'll be the next link that I'll take out what is the sales funnel and put the other one in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I was expecting one of you guys to mention and nobody did, I'm shocked, but I'm going to bring it up because it's been the biggest game changer for me personally, is AI. AI in the last 6 months, everybody's heard of AI a little bit, but in the last 6 months, Chris?
I said, yeah, I thought you said, what's something new?
Guys,
old news now, man.
Well, for me, I'm still digging on AI because a year ago it wasn't what it is today. I mean, had anyone even heard of ChatGPT or anything like that this time last year? I don't think that came out to the fall of 2022. If I'm
like November.
Yeah, November. And now we've integrated the ChatGPT 4 into our app, but the reason Miss Spelling Bee is called Miss Spelling Bee is because my grammar and syntax and spelling is notoriously bad, giving no one an excuse out there in the listening audience. If you've ever thought, well, I don't have a degree, or I don't know what to do, or I can't write, I can't be in it. Well, look, Exhibit A. If Terry Wilson can do it, no one has an excuse. And now with these tools, I've literally written 10 different ebooks because I put in my points that I want to make. I say, I want to make this point. I want 10 chapters. I want these points to be made. Here's my subpoint. I basically give ChatGPT an outline and it writes the book for me, and then I just go in and proof it, make sure it's what I want to say. And then I'll change it up if it needs to be different language so it's authentically me. But man, as a tool for the ability to create blog posts, ebooks, my podcast over at terrywilson3.com, the podcast I have there. If you ever hear a voice that's not mine or Reagan, it's a robot. It's an AI robot, and it's basically the language is even written by ChatGPT. So the ability to produce stuff and creatively put stuff out is just exponentially, probably 10x my output. AI has. So our tools has always had that automation component to it where I can automatically respond email, text, voice, but now to be able to create content in such a rapid way, pretty darn cool.
Yeah, and it goes off of your prompts. I mean, that's the big thing. The thing that scares people about AI is they think, that it's replacing us.
Mm-mm.
It's not replacing us. It's just making what we do quicker.
Yes.
Right. Because we already have these ideas in our brain.
Mm-hmm.
And it could take us an hour or 2 hours or even a day or a month or a year to get the time, have the energy, and
to proof it,
ready to put it all down.
Yeah.
Or we can quickly type it in and say, do this, and then it jump starts that process, leaps and bounds, and then you go through and just alter it to be you.
Yep.
So it's not about replacing you. If anybody's listening and says, hey, AI is the devil, AI is the devil, man. And it's just there. And the cool part about everybody here on this group that I like the most, we all come with such varied backgrounds. I mean, every one of us comes with such varied histories.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing in the world to be in this group with you guys because, I mean, we all come with different things. I didn't start my journey with any of you going around and saying, I'm going to resell TW3 products.
Yeah.
what I was here for 3.5 years before I sold a single product.
Yeah.
Right. But I've been using them, whereas other members, some of you guys, you started selling TW3 products and then branched out from there.
Yeah.
I did it the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started building my own things and then branched inward to TW3. So
you were the one making fun of me. You were making fun of me last week because I was being interviewed by a robot. You remember me telling last?
Yeah, well, you just decided to spend your day playing 20 questions with a robot. But
cool. See, that's the trick to AI I'm learning is that prompt. The better you are at prompting that thing, the better output you get. And that was a little hack that I got where I said, hey, I am an internet marketer wanting to recruit people into my business. What are 10 things you need to know about me so you can write better copy in blog, social media posts, and email sequences? I just asked it point blank, and it says, here are 10 questions I need to know. So I answered those 10 questions, and then boom, it produced. It produced everything I needed. So I'm just copy and pasting over. I mean, it's just that simple.
Yeah. The other part of that, though, don't forget, is also set the sensitivity to it.
Yeah.
Right. Because you can make it like very literal, or you can give it a little room to interpret.
Yeah.
When you play with that sensitivity, you're going to get varied answers for the exact same question that you're asking. And it's going to open up new ideas in your brain as you read the answers that come back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's very cool. Well, guys, I think for an episode 1, this has been pretty cool. What do you think?
Love it.
Loving it.
Oh, yeah. A lot of good stuff that everybody was talking about tonight. Yeah. Just like you guys were saying, man, there's so many different, all of us are from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
I heard a guy once say years ago at the TW3 conference, hey, these group of people, man, at TW3, let me tell you, man, these are some quality people. I mean, you just don't want to cross this just anywhere, right?
Now, who would say that?
Okay. I said, okay, all right. Well, he told me a second time. Then he told me a third time. I said, all right, you got a point. I said, we try to do good stuff. I said, we're busted. Okay.
Hey, man, I had tried this and tried that beforehand,
Oh, man. Well, this has been fun. And I tell you, as someone that does a podcast about once or twice a week, this is a lot more fun than me in this room talking to myself. I'll tell you that right now. So anyway, well, guys, we hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. This will be going out in our RSS feed. You can subscribe at the individual channel that you see it on. You can also connect with any of the fine folks that are on here tonight in the links that are added to this particular podcast. If you have any questions, their contact information is there. And we hope that whether you do anything with any of us or something else, that number one, you'll be dedicated to whatever it is you're doing, and you'll persist and push past whatever pains that you have and whatever setbacks you have. Don't give up on yourself. The message of this podcast and all of us is you are worth more. You can do more. You can have more. You can experience more if you will do the bravest thing that you'll ever do in your life, and that is to believe in yourself. Because when you believe in yourself, what you actually do is give everybody else around you permission to believe in you as well. So until next time, this is Terry with the Big 5.